ran French Montana's content. You're running Eric Bellinger's content. You're running Miami Heat, Victor Oladipo's content. Let's see, who am I missing out? I know I'm leaving people out. Who else?
Cap G.
One of the biggest obstacles artists face in the music game is access. Getting access to the people that can make it happen, or access to the information and resources you need to get to the next level. That's the key. That's why you need two of the biggest in the game on your side. Introducing J.R. McKee, Boomman. Welcome to the real industrial plug. You heard me?
So this is a very, very special episode of Real Industry Plugs, because I have brought y'all one of the most important people to the business right now, Jasmine Jones, the queen of content herself. This is one of the most sought after people in the industry right now, and I'm fortunate that I have her on my team. So anybody that is an entrepreneur, you have any sort of business, artist, you're selling hair, you're selling life insurance, whatever you're doing, you're not doing it right if you don't have content. If you are not making content, you are not doing your job right.
Period.
And so I wanted to bring you guys the expert that sits next to me literally every day, and now right here on Real Industry Plugs, the content creator herself, the #1 content creator in the music business right now, Jasmine Jones. What's up?
Oh my gosh, what
What's
an honor
up?
to be here.
Yeah. So first of all, let's get into Jasmine. I want to prerequisite what you've been doing over the last 12 months with starting with, there are a lot of people out there with that tagline in their bio, content creator. But how did Jasmine Jones become a content creator?
Well, oh my God, it started years ago, probably over 10 years ago. Instagram came out. Well, first we had Facebook. I was too young for Facebook, unfortunately. But then Instagram came out. And at first I was just having fun with it. Like, my name was SMS Tigers, my school's name. Super random. But the first time I dropped a selfie, I got my first 100 likes on there. And I was like, oh my God, I might be famous. Like, oh my God, this is amazing, 100 people. So after that, I don't know, it was just like something in me just spiraled from there. It just kept going. And I was just excited to make content every day.
So first of all, what is content? Let's put a definition to it real quick.
So content is anything, what do you mean by that? Sorry.
So what is content? So when you say you're a content creator, okay, define content.
Well, to me, it's just like whatever you film on your phone, whether it's lifestyle, whether it's commercial videos, anything you can film on your phone is content. It's all the above, literally.
So that includes pictures?
Yeah, pictures, videos, time-lapse, everything.
Okay, got you. So let me ask you this. You started making content just as, a normal young adult, because I don't know how old you were when you started, but just as a normal young adult, you were putting out personal content. I mean, right. Like you said, selfies and things of that nature. Right. And let's say just like Instagram once, you got hooked. Yeah. You got hooked. You started to see the response of the people and you got hooked.
Definitely.
But at what point did you realize this was a business for you?
That's a good question. I mean, it first started once I got brand partnerships like Fashion Nova, Pretty Little Thing, and I saw you can make money from your home, from just taking pictures from your home. At first, it was just picture-based. I was like, wow, I can make money from this. Let me do more, Yeah. So once I saw that, I just thought wow, this is game-changing.
So did people come to you or did you reach out to other people? Like what was the first instance? Give us the first example.
So the first example would be Fashion Nova, which now thinking about it, wow, what a big brand to first work with. And they first came to me. They actually went in my DMs and was just like, hey, we'd love to work with you. I'm like, is this real? Okay, sure. I had no idea what that looked like, anything like that. And I kind of just learned from that. But then after that, I took it upon myself and I was was like, well, if Fashion Nova's reaching out to me, why not work with every brand there possibly can be? So I was just like, okay, so if I can find somebody else, like Pretty Little Thing, I hit them up and I was just like, hey, you know, I would love to work with you. You kind of like put a deck together of what you can do for them and then vice versa. And then you just kind of like collaborate from there. I've worked with hair brands, shoe brands, clothes brands. I feel like you name it. I think I came to a point where I was just like, what's something I'm into, you know, right now? And I think that was like bedding. And I found a company that, you know, has bedding, and I just contacted them like, hey, let's partner. Like, I need some new sheets, like random, you know?
And so what do you ask for? Like, so let's say, boom, you reach out to the bedding company. Are you asking just for products, or what are you saying is my pay rate? What's like the normal ask if you're reaching out to them?
So, I mean, at first you kind of just want to start a conversation because these are normal people at the end of the day. I just say, hey, like, I love your work or your pieces that you have that you're providing, and I'd love to work with you. You know, let me know if that's interest to you. And they usually respond and give like an email. So then, you know, I'll email them and I'll say, here's my rate. Here's kind of like what I'm looking for. And then you kind of just like go back and forth with the, I guess, negotiating process. Right. But it's usually super simple, super easy because they want to work with you.
What determines rate though? When you say, here's my rate, what determines that rate?
I feel like you do.
So give us an example. What was your rate? When you say, here's my rate, what would you tell them?
So to be honest, it really depends on the person. I think because I was new to it, I kind of lowballed myself. So, I mean, I can give, like, for example, for a story post, I might have made like $500 to $700 based on what the product was, you know, what I was kind of like comfortable with. Okay. And then for a page post, it was between like $1,500 to maybe like $2,500.
Got you. Okay. All right. So we're going through your journey. So boom, you're doing this for yourself. At what point do you say, man, you know what? I can do this for other people too. So because I knew this man right here. Yeah. For almost a decade now, since I was like 14. Yeah. Well, I mean, actually before you, I was doing content for other people. But I guess I just saw, like, I'm the kind of person where I can see what like an audience wants to see from somebody. I can like automatically see somebody's page and say, oh my gosh, if they just did a little more of this, you know, they would get a better reach. So I can just, I don't know if it's something that's, for 'em. Yeah, that's the word. I have the vision. So the first person you work with, you know, I hate to tell your story for you, but it was it Creflo Dollar? Yes. Okay, so how did that come about? So were you already going to Creflo's church and you said, hey, I should be a part of your content team, or what happened there? So I've been going there since I was in my mom's belly, literally. For those of you who don't know, it's a church. He's a really famous pastor. But yeah, so really, I'll give props to my mother, Camaras. Thank you. She just kind of sold it for me. Like my daughter, you know, she's grown her own page. We would love to see how that works. So they immediately put me on staff and I just showed them what I could do. And I think my mic went out. Yeah. Okay. So what exactly did you do for Creflo Dollar? Like, break it down. So let me break it down for people real quick before we get there. You started out creating your own content. Brands reach out to you. Then you said, you know what, let me reach out to more brands. So you start building your money on your own. And then you said, I can also make more money doing this for more people. And because you already were part of Creflo Dollar's church, you thought that was an easy, attainable target. Boom, they liked you. What did you do for his brand then? So, okay, now I have the job. What does the job entail? So what I saw, because I always like to see what's, I don't want to say lacking, but what could be more, you know, what could be shown more. And I think the world just wasn't seeing him on the new platforms. Like, you know, he was on TV a lot. That was like a thing back then, you know, maybe on radio. That was popular years ago. But now we have Instagram. We have Facebook. We didn't have TikTok yet then. But I was just like, that's a platform he needs to be shown on. So what I did is I just put all the content he ever had on his Instagram. And it was kind of like retelling his story in a sense, because it was like building a new platform for him, a new brand, a new way to get his message out there. And that's important. You just said you took the content he already had. Yeah. And so I know even now today, we do the same thing. And when we work with a new client, we take existing content and tell that story again on these new platforms. Like you said, TikTok didn't exist. So if you were starting work with Creflo today, you would take that same content and you would put it on TikTok? Yes, is that correct? Exactly. Okay. All right. So boom. So now you're working for Creflo. you got his content popping. Now he run up his followers on Instagram and whatnot. How did you transition into the music industry?
So COVID happened. So I was home a lot. And actually between that time, like from working with Creflo, and then I started, I started a family. So I kind of like took some time away, but it actually brought me closer to content because I was able to create my own content. So crazy story is once I had my daughter, or I was pregnant with my daughter, I started putting out content every single day. And I think that's when content kind of changed for me, because it was like, I started doing it consistently. So I started seeing a huge change in brands I worked with, things like that, just in numbers. My numbers went up. So I think that time during COVID, I was really able to like get to know content in a different way, you know?
Got you. And so I'll tell this part of the story. So Jasmine reached out to me in 2020.
Yeah,
it was 2020. She reached out to me and she said exactly what she's been telling you guys.
2021.
It was 2021? And she said, hey, I think I can help grow your brand. She was like, I see what it could be. She had a vision for me that I might not even necessarily have for myself.
Yeah.
And it was good timing because right after she reached out to me, I read a book. I don't know if you know this or not. Well, here's an interesting story. I read a book that my friend Fly told me to read. It was called Who Not How. And so Who Not How is basically a book. Everybody should go get that book, Who Not How. And it's basically a book saying there are these things that you want to accomplish. And instead of worrying about how to accomplish them, you need to worry about who can accomplish them for you. Who can you go to that has that expertise that can get the job done for you? So when you came to me about growing my platform, and right after that, I read that book, I was like, well, here's a person who can handle the how. I don't have to worry about the how because I have the who. Boom. And also to give my wife credit, my content was trash. You know what I mean? I was doing content videos with the iPhone headphones, a black t-shirt, because I was so focused on getting the information out. That's all I cared about. Right. I wanted to make sure you guys had the information, but I didn't care about the aesthetic of it. I didn't care how it came across. And so my wife changed that. And so that's when you start seeing me on the helicopters, which, by the way, was my real life. But now we're just filming it. Right. Now I'm giving you the information while I'm doing the things that I know you want to see me do. Right. You know what I mean? You want to be able to look at me and say, wow, he's really living that life, because I am. But I never worried about showing the world that side of me. Right. You know what I mean? That was just what me and our family did. Yeah. But my wife was like, okay, everything you were going to say it in front of the helicopter. Right. You know what I mean?
Great idea.
Yeah. And so she changed it. And so when you approached me about doing my content, I was like, man, this will be a lot like having my wife on full-time staff, because I have somebody, because my wife is a content creator. Yeah. I have somebody full-time working for me, because my wife can't full-time work for me because she has her own thing. Right. So I'm like, okay, this is a content creator that can come in and change everything for me, which you did, by the way. You know what I mean? You see we're over 100,000 followers now. You see how we coming out, you know what I mean? But what I realized in that process, so because I want to tell the whole story before we really dive into it, because I want people to understand what it takes to get to where you are today. Right.
And I just want to say it took about 6 months for him to put me actually on staff. I was like, we had a call. It was a little ghost for a minute, for a good 6 months. I said, okay, maybe.
I probably was reading that book.
Right. I was like, it took you about 6 months to read the book.
I was busy reading the book.
And then when he called me, he said, you ready? And I'm like, okay. And it just took off from there.
Exactly. So we grew my base. And at the time, I was really focused on my course, Streaming Business 101 and 202. And you helped me put 202 together. I was really focused on that and getting that out there, because I was, mainly focused on educating people. That was my main focus. But then I started my company, Music, Power, Respect. And so here was a big key. When I started my company, I was like, okay, I know I need my brother, Drew DeLeon, who was the main digital marketer that me and him worked at Alamo together. I was like, okay, I can handle all the DSP stuff. Drew can handle the digital marketing. But I was like, there's a piece that most labels never even consider. I said, I need this piece. I need this head of content piece. I need a full department dedicated to content. Right. And so with you already being right there by my side, I said, Jasmine's the one. Jasmine will be my head of content. You know what I mean? Because you had already proven yourself at that point. You know what I mean? And so when I started Music Power Respect, I started NPR. It was me. I got Drew. And then the third person I got, or I guess the second person I got, was Jasmine Jones, head of content.
That is an honor to stand with y'all. What?
Yeah. And so over the last 12 months, you know, since we started NPR, it's me, you, and Drew. You've been able to do so much. So I want to run down some of your clientele.
Okay, go ahead.
You know what I mean? These are people that Jasmine is completely running their content, or once was completely running their content. So in the last 12 months, your first year in the music industry, you ran Money Long's content. You ran French Montana's content. You're running Eric Bellinger's content. You're running Miami Heat, Victor Oladipo's content. Let's see, who am I missing out? I know I'm leaving people out. Who else?
Cap G.
Cap G's content. Who else we got? Trying to think who else, because it's a long list. It's a long list. Who are we missing? Come on, give me the other ones. What was it? OG3. We did OG3.
Manny Wells.
Amari Noel. You know what I mean? Jacob Lattimore.
Yes.
So in the past 12 months, your first year in the industry, you're already running major artists content. You're already running NBA players content.
Right.
You're already running big actors content.
I know. This is wild. Yes.
And so that's why when we put the title Queen on there, Queen
not a
of
joke.
Content, it's not a joke. It's not a game. You really are the queen of content. You're running all of these. You know what I'm saying? And so make a lot. That's what I love about Real Industry Plugs. It's the people behind the scenes that you guys don't know about.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm putting you guys on the people that you need to know and you need to be following, because they are the blueprints, and Jasmine Jones is the blueprint of content.